Okay, and that is the brush hog. And before I put it up for tonight, I wanted to try to show underneath to show you what it actually looks like. So if you see those two blades right there, they're retracted right now, and then with centrifugal force, when you start it up, they come out to the edge, and that's where you get your 4 foot. That's where you get your 4 foot cutting width. The good thing about that is the blades are not fixed. So what happens is, if you hit something, it's not gonna, or it'll have less of a chance of damaging or destroying the blade. And what I'm doing right now, I'm just backing the tractor up. So, alright, hold on. Okay, so there's the brush hog. This is its temporary home. Andrea and I are having a party this weekend, so where the carport is going to be where the party's going to be located, because it's under the shade. And so I'm going to have to get all this junk and get it out of here. And so the backhoe is remaining, because it's going to take probably an hour and a half to 2 hours to put that thing on, move it, and then put it back off, and then take another hour and a half to 2 hours to put it back. So it's just going to stay where it is. Andrea has let the sisters and the nieces out, so I told her that she could do that while I'm yakking on the video here. So what I wanted to show you is everything in this area here, which is what I call no man's land, was this was done by the brush hog. Everything from the fence going to the right over here was done by the mower. The mower that I have is a Husqvarna garden mower. Reason we got this instead of a 0 turn is because I never thought I would be getting one of these, so you can thank my uncle for that. And so I thought that we could use the garden tractor as a substitute for an actual tractor, which it does. It's good in its own right, but it's obviously not a tractor. But this was done by the lawnmower. The grass had been over a month since it had been mowed, because I broke the belt on the lawnmower, and then the tractor went into service, and then in the middle of that we had a hurricane, which kind of screwed everything up, and so this place looked like an unruly mess. Half of this area back here was about the size that I just cut over there, so it was in really bad shape. So as you can see, let me walk a little closer. You can see the height difference between what the brush hog does versus the mower. Obviously this is not a finish mower. A brush hog is more like rough carpentry instead of finished carpentry, but it also knocked down 80% of the grass. Let me walk over here for a second. I'll show you how tall everything was. All right, over here where this grass is right now, this is how tall everything was back here. And so I could have potentially mowed it with the regular mower, but it would have been a real pain to do, and it would not have been fun. And the reason this did not get mowed is this is right at the edge of our beds, and we have our irrigation system, so I didn't want to take a chance of accidentally clipping the irrigation system, so I just did it a little on the safe side. But as you can see, what the grass was versus what it is. And I cut this yesterday, and there's our watermelon patch right here. The spaghetti squash, I don't know if it was at the end of its life cycle when the storm hit, or the storm pretty much caused it to be at the end of its life cycle, but it pretty much died. And so this is the remnants of the spaghetti squash here. I think we got between 40 and 50 spaghetti squash off of this thing. And this thing was only one plant. All right, that one's not really worth anything. So spaghetti squash is like watermelon. If they're in a good environment, they can be very productive. There's several watermelon in here I want to get. Hopefully we'll be ready for the party so we can give out watermelon at the party. We've been producing so much food this year, we've been giving a ton of it away. In the future, we hope to be selling it, but I'd rather give the food away than I would let it go bad. So I don't have a problem with that. But anyway, getting back to the brush trimmer, except in the really, really dense areas, if it was just overgrown grass, I could fly through there. By fly, I mean I could go faster, a lot faster with that than I ever could, even if I went full speed on the lawnmower, because it was just grass. Now in the thicker areas, I did have to slow down. So like at the beginning of the video, that was a really big overgrown area. The rating on it is for my type of tractor, which is like a 25 horsepower tractor. That's a 4-foot cutter. They did not recommend a 5-foot cutter because they said that the tractor wouldn't be big enough for that. And so we ended up with the 4-footer. Then what I'm doing here is I'm walking. I cut all of this earlier today. This is what we had done earlier this year. There was this overgrown brush. And so as soon as the season ends and we're in winter time and all the vegetation dies down, we're going to come in here and try to grab all of this stuff. But there's just too much vegetation right now to try to get it because we can't see it all. But as you can see, typically in the past, I had mowed all the way up to that telephone pole, and then everything else, Ori Electric is our electrical company, and they maintain that area between the telephone poles and the tree line because they want to have a certain distance so no branches or anything get close to the electric lines. So every few years they come and clean that up. When they go to clean it up the next time, then I have the proper equipment now to where I can just maintain it. But that's too big for me to try to mess with. And the brush hog is rated for 1 inches. So it can do saplings up to 1 inch in diameter. And if it was roots and branches and stuff that are already on the ground, it can tear those up some more. But the saplings itself would be 1 inch. I'm showing you this over here. Let me get a little closer. Okay, the farmer that farms all the stuff around here, this is a swale right here where all this overgrown brush is. And he comes in after the season is done, after he's harvested and over the winter, and he cuts all of this. And he cuts it all the way down to, you know, this height here. Now he has a big, you know, he has the big commercial tractors, and he has the big articulating brush hogs. The tractor that I have is not big enough, not powerful enough, and most importantly, not heavy enough for an articulating brush hog. The reason is you have to have a certain amount of weight on the tractor itself, because otherwise, as soon as you move the brush hog over to try to cut something, you'll just tip the tractor over. And so, but you know, he's a commercial farmer, and so he has obviously those tractors, and so he can easily put on those attachments. And so at the end of the year, after he's done harvesting the peanuts, I can come in and I can nail this real easy with that brush hog. And so I won't be able to get everything myself, but I can be able to get some of it myself. And for South Carolina, the peanuts, it's going to be into October, maybe early November, when these are actually going to get harvested. I have a little cheat sheet that the USDA gave out for each state on the commercial crops. So like soybeans and peanuts and wheat and those type of crops, when they're typically sown, when they're typically harvested, that type of thing. And so sister's over there having a good time being out. So anyway, done rambling on the video. I think I'm going to go through in the nighttime area before the party, and I think I'm going to go ahead and cut that again, because I just want it nice and small, you know, not too high above ground for the party area, because we're going to have activities like cornhole and stuff like that. So I want it to be as good as possible. And as you can see on the other side of the carport there, it's shady, and it's pretty much shady there all year round, or all day long, because the canopies of the trees. So I just want to keep it like that. So anyway, done rambling. Happy with the brush hog. You know, it's not cheap, but it's a tractor attachment. No tractor attachment is cheap. But since we have the 9 acres here, and now I have something I can be able to cut when I can, oh, there's Loki right there. So I have something I can be able to cut when it's going to be too much for the regular lawnmower. Just as a fun fact, it's really dark in here right now, and the lighting on the phone is really good, so I can't wait to see what it's actually like on the video. But it's actually a lot darker in reality than what is showing on the screen, so I'll be interested to see that once I do the video. So anyway, done rambling. What I want to do next is, in between everything else, I just had the 50-hour service of the tractor, which is the break-in service. So I wanted to do like a 50-hour review video geared towards like first-time tractor owners, for people that have not been around heavy machinery like me. So I'm going to get that as soon as I can. It might be before or after the party. I just don't know yet. So anyway, brush hog attachment so far has been good.